Hey, it is here. Happy chapter day. It is your boy Born Zero, aka the Homeless Hokage, aka Clean 15, and this is 64 Boruto Control. We broke this one down into three categories. So we have the surprises, the dislikes, really just one dislike and something that was nitpicky, and then we have likes. And just to begin with, I'm so thankful that I came into this one with absolutely no spoilers, no nothing. I just heard there was like some controversy. I didn't really see anything bad in this shit. But we're going to start off. Shikamaru. This is the first surprise. So Shikamaru as the cover art. And let me just say this. Shikamaru in general, because I feel like when it comes to these fights in Boruto, at this point, it's trained in our brains to say, okay, Sasuke's going to come in, save the day. Okay, Naruto's going to go over there and help Team 7, like something like that. But to have Shikamaru actually going to be in this mix and throw them damn hands, I hope he don't get clapped up. I hope he don't die. I hope he survives this. But just to have him, just to see Shikamaru's face and just to have the whole cover for Shikamaru, that was a surprise for me. And my second one, now Boruto, he fared very well in his fight versus Code, in my opinion. Like, we always had this, Code's been being built up for a minute. If I get my limiters off, I'm gonna throw them hands. I don't know if Naruto can handle Code by himself right now, quote unquote, by Amato. And what I've seen from Boruto, and a Boruto who had ability using karma, this was a pretty even fight, in my opinion. Now, I understand Code has to keep Boruto alive, so there's a bit of a handicap there, but this wasn't a washing. And I even said, I feel like if Kawaki still had his karma, they probably could have handled this a lot smoother, or at least held more time until Naruto, Shikamaru, maybe even Sasuke came through and then won that way. But as far as that goes, shout out to Boruto. He put in that work. He put in good enough work until the very end, cliffhanger, and I'm loving it. And then the third surprise, Amato's medicine actually working. For now, that is, right? So, and this is another thing. It's in our minds. We don't trust Amato. Fuck that nigga. We don't fuck with you, Amato. But it just seems like he's been helping out. And part of me is like, okay, so what's under this man's sleeve where he could go out of his way and actually give the Leaf some assistance? He's making it so Boruto can control karma. We know his motives with Kawaki are a bit iffy. We know he wants him for something that is still a vessel in Amato's mind. But it's just like, you gotta be plotting something huge in order to pretty much help the enemy from our eyes. Because we know we still thinking Amato's on that other side. But to be able to help somebody in a huge way, in a very huge way, it makes me wonder, what does Amato know that he could do with Kawaki for him to have this much confidence in helping the opposing side? But at the same time, now when we got to that cliffhanger, I don't think Boruto lost chakra and Momoshiki's going to come into control, because it felt like he was, in his mind, Boruto felt like he could still go more rounds with Code. He's like, all right, bro, I'm going to turn this shit up. And then he started choking. I feel like that may be a side effect of the pills. Now, for my one dislike, it really comes with the inconsistency of the character Code. And I just feel like every time he's built up, the very next chapter it does something strange to him. Like, now, in this one, particularly this chapter, I feel like where we left off, coming into this, it was more so something where Code was like excited. Okay, I'm going to egg you on, Boruto. I'm going to see you to your fullest potential. And then he gets kind of confused, as if he's not the one who had the knowledge about the karma seal in the first place. And it seems as if he kind of wanted Momoshiki, like he was expecting Momoshiki, because he says something to the extent of, it's so strange how Momoshiki's consciousness can control you this much, even though you're just a vessel. And then he's like shocked, like, oh shit, this isn't Momoshiki. This is actually Boruto controlling the powers of Momoshiki to a higher extent than before. And it's like, isn't that what you wanted, Code? Why are you so surprised? Like, what's going on? Because if you tie into how the last chapter ended, it seemed as if when we got this new version of Boruto, or potentially Momoshiki, which excited Code, like, okay, now I get to really fight you. It just made Code seem more like of a badass, like, okay, bro, this guy actually has some fucking hands. he's willing to fight Fuse Momoshiki. Or not Fuse Momo, but he's willing to fight Borushiki. He's willing to throw them hands with half man, half god, half young lord, half god, which, you know, puts Code on that level, at least in my mind, in my imagination, like, yo, he about to throw them hands. Now this reminds me of previous chapters ago where we get this whole build up, Amato speaking on Code, like, man, he's a beast. If he takes off his limiters, honestly, bro, we are all doomed. And then in the very next chapter, he turns into a simp for Ida. And then it's kind of like, yo, okay, so Code is, like, honestly, in my opinion, Code is he's pretty overrated. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I know he looks cool and all that. In my opinion, Code is probably the most overhyped character of this series. Like, and honestly, even when you tie into what the anime has been given to us, because the main thing behind Code when it came to the manga was, like, he was such a mystery. He never really said anything. He didn't really have any dialogue. He was always kept out of the mix, and it was like up to us to kind of imagine, like, yo, man, he's the final Kara member. He must have some hands. He's over there. He's just been babysitting the Ten Tails. He's kind of been stopped from intruding too much into the Leaf Village. He's like a secret weapon. And then in the anime, he kind of comes off as like this, I don't want to say brat, but like this jealous type of, like a beta. He's like, you know, oh, Kawaki gets all the attention. He's the vessel, and I worship you, and now I'm a simp for Ida. You know, like, it just seems like whenever we get this build up with Code, it's short-lived, right? And let me pause right quick. Now, this was the nitpicky thing. Now, Boruto, when he's getting into his whole karma mode, he uses the shadow clone, right? Now, I thought it would be cool if they added like this thing with Boruto where his shadow clones also have the karma seal, but not for a long time. So, like, you remember when Kawaki's, he used the shadow clone, Ashiki put a karma on it, and then it, like, disappeared and dissolved. I think it would be dope if Boruto shadow clones went through, like, a same thing where they have the karma until it kind of sizzles out, or Code, say, punches one and it poofs, and now, okay, that one doesn't have karma. But with the caveat being, Boruto kind of loses, the real Boruto loses some strength, but each time one shadow clone dies off, he kind of regains it type thing. So, like, almost like how Naruto was able to expand his chakra and, you know, donate some during the fucking Shinobi War. But, you know, that's nitpicky. You know, I just thought it would add some more nuance to the ability of Boruto in that mode. Another thing I did like, so this is my second like, was well, actually, this is my first like, because that was my dislike. So this is my first like. So we are witnessing Boruto as pretty much the purest depiction of a vessel, and I say that across the entirety of the series, because there's been other vessels before, but I feel like a lot of that has been one-sided, and I feel like Boruto is probably the most objectified character throughout the series, because we are witnessing, for example, Boruto within his own body, removing his identity. Like, take away the identity of Boruto and just imagine yourself in the body of Boruto, and you're Momoshiki. You take over and you're using your own power because you have the karma, but then again, you're like, oh, okay, he also has tools. What is this? The Vanishing Rasengan. Let's try that out. And then you flip back into Boruto, who has the karma seal, and he's like in his own body kind of testing things out. Like, okay, I can absorb with karma. What else can I do? He's able to use some of those powers that Momoshiki possesses. And it's almost as if, like, say you get into a car. Two people share the same car. Okay, let me readjust the seat. Okay, what does this button do? Okay, now let's drive. And then you get into another, like, the other dude gets into the car. He drives his own way, you drive your own way. So you could almost differentiate whether Boruto's possessed or not based on the fighting style, but depending on who is in control of Boruto at the time, they're trying to figure out the other's power. So they're both sharing this body and trying to get to know each other's fighting styles. I think that is dope because, like I said, I feel like previous vessels, it's been more of a one-sided thing where we had Sasuke. He didn't have any of Orochimaru's powers. It just, like, the curse mark gave him a boost of his own power, and then over time he loses his self to Orochimaru. Same with Kimimaro. It's like they don't gain anything on the other end. It's always one-sided. It's a one-sided thing. I feel like Kawaki is pretty much similar to Boruto because he would have the Otsutsuki power as well as the powers given to him through a model in the scientific technology. And then Code is like the reverse version of like a Orochimaru, where it's like, okay, I get all of Ishiki's power, he gets nothing from me so far that we know. And then also I get some Amato technology and all that type of shit. So that's one thing I do like. I really like how Boruto he's the purest vessel we've seen. And this kind of ties into a point that Code said. However, I don't feel like it makes sense from Code's perspective, where he says, I wonder how Momoshiki's consciousness works so well within Boruto, even though he's just a vessel. Because let's be real, Code has never even witnessed Momoshiki take over Boruto. So this would have to be something he either learned from Ida or I don't know. I don't even fucking know, because in this context, it doesn't make sense coming from Code. But in terms of the whole story in general, I really like that he did say it, because I mean, I like how the information is out there, but it don't really make sense coming from Code. Because if you think about it, Boruto is the only pure vessel. He is the vessel that has gone through the most traditional way you could do so. Whereas Ishiki was pretty much a leech. He shrunk himself and was sucking on Jigen's brain. Kawaki got his through like some scientific measures, as well as Code. So no one really understands the karma seal in its natural way other than Otsutsuki themselves. So Boruto is the pure vessel. He's the true vessel. He's the only thing, the only example that we get to see live go through this process. And then to my third point, and I do like how that is kind of like new to Code, because he's never witnessed this. Amato's never witnessed this. But now on to my third point. I like this. I think this is going to be heavy into the storyline. Boruto noticed that Code is aware of the medicine. I think this is a good thing, because it could cause paranoia within the Leaf Village. Who is the spy? Because we know about Ada, they don't. So there could be this whole thing like, yo, someone's relaying information to the other side. This could cause even bigger distrust with Amato, because he's like, Amato ain't been saying shit. He been in the village the whole time. Sai's been watching the nigga, you know. So it's like, it's gonna cause a lot of disruption within the Leaf Village. And they're not even going to be aware of Ida in general. So that's going to be dope. Boruto will tell someone like, yo, he said something funny. He knows I'm on these pills. And how the fuck? Either Code's been spying on us. Someone's been spying on us. There's a traitor within the village. Of course, fingers are going to be pointed at shit. If Kawaki goes back to the village, do fingers get pointed at Kawaki? Because, you know, niggas been saying like, oh, yo, Kawaki, you talk about leaving and shit. What the fuck? So it's going to be interesting. And then my favorite moment in this whole series, in this whole chapter, was actually the moments where we get Shikamaru announcing, yo, I'm going to battle with you. I'm not here to stop you. I'm going to be there. I'm going to fight with you. That was crazy, because it's like, okay, he's going to fight. Oh, shit, this is different. Because like I said, we're expecting Sasuke to do so. And then not only that, Hinata comes out the cut like, yo, I'm coming with you. That was crazy. But then that dialogue comes with Naruto. And then I think this is what people were complaining about, but I thought it was the most beautiful thing. Naruto is telling her, like, look, who's going to watch Himawari? What happens if anything happens to you? Like, she's essentially going, you're trying to turn this bitch to an orphan if you come with me. But that was beautiful. And then there was like, it was nothing really said. Himawari's looking, and she's looking at her dad. She's like, are you going to make it back? Like, there's so much, like, these niggas do not know what's about to happen. Is my dad going to die? What the fuck is popping off? And even Shikamaru, because Kurama is gone. People are talking to Naruto like he washed. Like, yo, bruh, like, look, man, I gotta come with you. We do not know what you could. Don't push yourself too hard. Now, a bit of that is kind of annoying, because it's like, nigga, I'm still Naruto, bruh. Like, come on, bruh, I could throw hands with you. Like, you Shikamaru, I'm Naruto. But that was just the most beautiful thing. And that really had me thinking, like, is Naruto gonna die? Is Shikamaru gonna die? Like, I don't want no one to get murked, but sheesh. I'm gonna leave y'all with that, man. Thank you. Take care. Hope y'all enjoyed the chapter as much as I did. Peace.